Hey there, Ken Hill here with Guns, Gear, and Freedom. Today, I'd like to show you guys how to mount a precision rifle scope. Let's get started. As a precaution, it is very important before you begin to safety check your rifle. Make sure it's instant. We're going to go ahead and do that now. Open the bolt, pull out the mag, no rounds present, no rounds present. We'll go ahead and leave the bolt open for this demonstration. So one of the first things that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to level our rifle from the buttstock side to the barrel tip side. It's very important to do this because it helps level your scope reticles and it helps level your scope with the rifle. Leveling the rifle is necessary in order to eliminate any variables that may influence the accuracy of the scope and the rifle. To do this, we will want to use a scope leveling kit and maybe even a smaller level to assist us. A scope leveling kit usually contains a reference level such as this, which is a magnetic one, it'll stick to things, and then you would have a barrel clamp level also. As you can see, I've already started leveling this rifle. I've put shims underneath the handle to raise up the butt of the rifle, and as it sits now, the rifle should be fairly level from the butt stock to the barrel. Now that we have successfully leveled our rifle from the butt stock to the barrel, we can now take our reference level by Wheeler and we can level our rifle from side to side. We're going to do this by putting the reference level on top of the Picatinny Rail, just like that. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my barrel leveler and I'm going to place it on the barrel and adjust it so that it is level. With our barrel level in place and our reference level in place, as well as our secondary level being in place, this ensures that the rifle is completely level. Now that we have our rifle completely leveled from side to side and from front to back, we can now start our mounting process. Since we are going to be mounting a Burris XTR2 4x20x50 scope, I decided to use the matched Burris 34mm AR P.E.P.R mount, or proper eye position rifle mount, and we are going to go ahead and start the install process. I have now successfully removed the ring caps, and we will be using the smooth style instead of the rough Picatinny style for this. We can now go ahead and place our scope mounting base. It is now safe to go ahead and remove our miniature level. And now we are ready to go ahead and place our scope mount on the Picatinny Rail. I like to place it so that the most forward lug is center of the action, and there is something very important to do here. When you go to tighten down your scope mounting base, you need to ensure that the lugs that contact the Picatinny lugs, make sure it's pushed all the way forward before you tighten them down. So you got to get them in there and make sure they're all the way forward, and then you can start tightening things snug. I wouldn't say tightening, I just say snugging things by finger. Next, we're going to check it with a level. We can bring back our level and place it directly inside of our scope mount. Now that we've checked to make sure our scope mount is level, we can continue. We are now ready to torque down our scope base. We're going to use an actual torque bit driver, and it is the fat wrench made by Wheeler. Burris recommends that the torque for the base nuts is 65 inch-pounds and the scope rings will be 20 inch-pounds. I've gone ahead and set the fat wrench to 65 inch-pounds, and I've got a 1/2 inch socket on there, and we're going to go ahead and tighten it down. We have successfully mounted and torqued our scope base. Now we can move on to the next step. For the next step, we can go ahead and remove our mini level from the scope mounting base. And now we will need our optic. And we're going to go ahead and place our optic down into the mount. We may have to move our level for a second, but we're going to be using it again. And this thing should slide back pretty easy. And in order to level our reticle, we're going to put our referencing level on the very top of the scope. Now that we have our scope reticle leveled from side to side, we can now go ahead and put on our scope ring caps. And I was going to use these smooth ones here, but I'm actually considering using the other ones, and I'll show you why. Here's how the smooth ones look. And then if I take that out, here's how the Picatinny topped ones look. And to me, I think it gives it a more tactical look with these ones on there. I think I'm going to go with these instead. Now we can go ahead and put the other one on. And we're going to insert our little screws. I have gone ahead and snugged down the hex bolts, but not snug enough to where the scope can't move side to side or back and forth in the side to scope rings there. So they can move back and forth and the scope can go forwards and backwards to adjust the eye relief. But we want it to be as level as possible from side to side. And then we are ready for our next step. We are now ready to begin the process of tightening down our hex bolts, and it's kind of a tricky matter. You're going to want to start on one side and tighten this corner and then move over to this corner and then start here and then go to here. And before you tighten the middle ones, I've been told that it's wise to move to the next scope ring and start in one corner and go crossways like this, and then that way to that way, and then lastly you can tighten down this and this and this and this, and we'll end up torquing them down. But the key thing to keep in mind is you want to keep your scope level as possible while you're tightening these down. If you don't, then your reticle will not be level when you're torqued down, and you will have a mess. So the best thing to do is, if you start watching that level and you're just barely tightening each one of these things, I mean just a little bit, you'll notice that your level is thrown off. If you tighten this side, it pulls the level and the bubble goes the opposite way. So if you want to adjust, just tighten the other side of what way you want to go, if that makes sense. When you physically go to tighten these and torque them down, Burris recommends 20 inch-pounds. So if you have a driver like mine, I've got a fat wrench, and it does torque in inch-pounds, from 10 all the way up to 65 inch-pounds, and it has various bits. And so we're going to go ahead and use this bad boy. Before you torque any of these things down, and while the scope is still loose and can move forward and backward or side to side, it's a wise idea to get behind your rifle, look through the scope, and slide the scope forward or back in the mount in order to obtain a clear field of view. And this is known as eye relief. Now that I have all of our hex bolts slightly snugged down, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to torque these to 20 inch-pounds as Burris recommends. Now I'm going to move to my front scope ring and do the same thing. And now I can get the middle ones. That one. And then go back over here and get these. One. There we go. And that's all there is to it. We have now successfully mounted our Burris XTR2 4x20x50. It is leveled from front to back and side to side. The reticle inside the scope is level with the rifle, so that should help eliminate any variables out in the field that would cause us inaccuracy. If you guys found my video informative, please give it a thumbs up. Also, share me around on social media like Facebook and Twitter. It helps get the word out that I do videos like this, and it just gets other people interested in the sport. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.